Hello everyone, a very good morning to all. So in this video, we are starting with the third unit of your syllabus, that is oxidation and reduction. In this particular video, we'll be discussing about the basics of oxidation and reduction and the all about the definition, all about the basic concepts of what oxidation and reduction are. So let's get started. Let's get to the notes. So firstly, let's understand what are the earlier concepts for the oxidation and reduction. So in the earlier concept, oxidation was the gain of oxygen. Whenever there was gain of oxygen in some reaction and removal of hydrogen, then that was called as oxidation. And here is an example of gain of oxygen. Here, carbon is gaining oxygen and getting converted to CO. So that is an example of oxidation. And here H2S is reacting with chlorine gas, that is hydrogen sulfide gas is reacting with chlorine gas. Here H2S is going to lose hydrogen and it will transfer its hydrogen to chlorine, and the conversion of H2S plus Cl2 to H2HCl and sulfur is going to take place. So here H2S is losing hydrogen. So it is undergoing oxidation. That means this is all about the oxidation according to the earlier concept, that is gain of oxygen and removal of hydrogen. Whenever there was an observable gain of oxygen and removal of hydrogen, or the removal of hydrogen is there, then it was called as oxidation. We could call it as oxidation is happening. Next thing is reduction. Whenever there was reduction is just the opposite of oxidation. Where it was gain of oxygen, here it is gain of hydrogen, and there it was removal of hydrogen, here it is removal of oxygen. So here let's have an example. Here chlorine is reacting with hydrogen gas to and getting converted to HCl. So here chlorine is gaining hydrogen. That means it is here reduction is taking place, and here Fe2O3 is undergoing the removal of oxygen and transferring its oxygen to the carbon monoxide gas and getting converted to CO2, that is carbon dioxide. So this is an example of reduction, because here Fe2O3, that is iron oxide, is undergoing reduction, losing oxygen to carbon monoxide and getting converted to iron. So it is undergoing reduction. So according to the earlier concept, oxidation was the gain of oxygen or the removal of hydrogen, and reduction was the gain of hydrogen and removal of or the removal of oxygen. In the new concept is more generalized and was applicable to the wider scope. There is a wider scope of this new concept, where the oxidation, whenever there is loss of electrons, then it is termed as oxidation, and whenever there was gain of electrons, it is termed as reduction. So in the new concept was according to the gain or loss of the electrons. So loss of electrons was the oxidation, and the gain of electrons is the reduction. Here, whenever we see the loss of electrons, that is oxidation, so there is an increase in positive charge. Say here sodium is losing electron and it is getting converted to Na positive. So here the charge was 0 and here it is +1. So there is an increase in positive charge. So increase in positive charge is always associated with oxidation. Other thing which can happen in oxidation is a decrease in negative charge. Here is an example. It is chloride ion. Here two chloride ions are getting converted to chlorine gas. So here these are losing 2 electrons. So here there is loss of electron. Loss of electron means oxidation is taking place. And here we can see that the oxidation number, that is the valency of here, it is getting increased. That is, it is getting increased from -1 to 0. So decrease in negative oxidation, that is -1 to, it is converting from -1 to 0. So that means it is an example of oxidation. Next we have reduction. It is gain of electrons. Whenever there is a gain of electron, we say that reduction has taken place. So for reduction also there are two possibilities. When the reduction takes place, increase in negative charge is there. Here MnO4 negative is gaining 1 electron. It is getting converted to MnO4 2 negative. Here negative charge was -1. Here it is -2. So negative charge is getting increased. Or it can be decrease in positive charge. Here iron 3+, that here it is in 3+, valence is 3+, it is gaining 1 electron and getting converted to iron 2+. So here decrease in positive charge is there. So this is also a case of reduction. So whenever there is loss of electrons, it can lead to either increase in positive charge or decrease in negative charge, and that is going to be oxidation. And whenever there is gain of electrons, and gain of electrons can lead to increase in negative charge or the decrease in positive charge, then both the cases are considered under the reduction category. So this is how in overall there is an electron transfer. So overall reaction, if we see that there is no possibility, there is no such case is possible where reduction alone is taking place and oxidation alone is taking place. So the oxidation and reduction are actually inseparable. They are taking place in a single reaction. So the overall reaction, in the overall reaction, one entity is undergoing oxidation and the other entity is undergoing reduction. Here is an example. This is an overall reaction for the combination of magnesium and oxygen. It is getting converted to 2 moles of magnesium oxide. So here, if we separate this reaction into 2 halves, magnesium is getting converted to, here magnesium is having 0 valency, here it is getting converted to Mg2 positive. So it is losing 2 electrons. That means it is undergoing oxidation. So this is oxidation half. Here we have written this is the oxidation half of this overall reaction. And the reduction, in the reduction half, oxygen is gaining 2 electrons and is getting converted from oxygen having 0 valency to oxygen having 2 minus. That means here negative charge is getting increased. So here it is the case of reduction. So this is the reduction half of the reaction, and the overall reaction becomes the Mg plus O2 gives 2 MgO. So next are the, so now we are very much clear about the oxidation and the reduction. Next thing which we are, next 2 terms which we are going to use repeatedly in this chapter are the oxidizing agent and the reducing agent. So as oxidation and reduction are part of the same reaction, oxidizing agent and reducing agent are also the part of the same reaction, and the one which is oxidizing agent undergoes reduction and the other which is reducing agent undergoes oxidation. Let us see how it happens. So both are present in a reaction, then the reaction is termed as redox reaction. So whenever there is an oxidation and reduction, whenever a complete reaction can be converted into 2 half reactions, that is oxidation half and the reduction half, and both the oxidizing agent and reducing agents are present, then the reaction, that reaction is called as an redox reaction. Here is an example. Here zinc is reacting with copper 2 positive. Here it is getting converted to zinc 2 positive and copper. So here what is happening is zinc is getting converted, zinc is losing 2 electrons and copper 2 positive is gaining 2 electrons and get converted to copper, and here zinc is getting converted to zinc 2 positive. So here copper 2 positive is undergoing reduction. That means it is gaining 2 electrons and it is getting converted to copper, and zinc is undergoing oxidation. That means it is losing 2 electrons and getting converted to zinc 2 positive. So this is the oxidation half and this is the reduction half. Here zinc is undergoing oxidation. That means it is a reducing agent, and here copper 2 positive is undergoing reduction. That means it is an oxidizing agent. So this entity which is undergoing oxidation is called as an reducing agent, and the entity which undergoes reduction is called as an oxidizing agent. So this was all about when these are the things where we can see the oxidation number, or we can say the valency is getting changed. So the concept of electron transfer can be easily applied to ionic substances, but it is not easy for the covalent compounds. So to generalize this concept, to generalize the concept of oxidation and reduction, or we can say to apply the concept of oxidation and reduction to all the compounds, we just we have the concept of oxidation numbers instead of the valency. So the charge, oxidation number is actually the charge which an atom appears to possess when all other atoms are removed from it as ions. So let us see the definition in detail with an example. So let us have a view of the definition again. So this is the charge which an atom appears to possess when all the atoms are removed from it as ions. So there are some rules for the determination of oxidation numbers. So first rule is electron, whenever electron is shared between 2 like atoms, whenever there is a molecule of 2 like atoms, that is here is an example of H2, then what happens is each hydrogen will take one electron with itself and there will be no net charge on any of them. Whenever there is an electron getting shared between two unlike atoms, that is heteromolecule is there. So the electronegative element will take both the electrons and it will acquire negative charge, and the electropositive element, the comparatively electropositive element, will lose both the electrons to the electronegative element and will acquire positive charge. Here, whenever we separate these two atoms, hydrogen is going to be H positive and chlorine is going to be Cl negative. Third point is the oxidation number of elements in free or elementary state. Just like H2N2, it is always 0, as we have discussed the first point, where each hydrogen is having no net oxidation number. Oxidation number of an element in a single ion. So whenever we talk about the single ion, this is the same as we discussed about the ions in the for the ionic compounds, we can say. So whenever there is a question about the single ion, then oxidation number is same as the valency on or we can say charge on that ion. In binary compounds between which are the compounds which are formed between metals and non-metals, those are called as binary compounds of metal and non-metal. The oxidation number of metal is always positive and that of non-metal is always negative. Example, NaCl. Here, both the electrons will go with chlorine and chlorine will acquire the negative charge and sodium is going to acquire the positive charge. Next is compounds of two non-metals. If there are the molecule is made up of two non-metals, there is nothing like metal and non-metal, both the elements are non-metals, then more electronegative element is going to acquire the negative charge and more the less electronegative element is going to acquire the positive charge, as we discussed the example of HCl. Here ammonia, also in ammonia and NCl3, in ammonia, nitrogen is more electronegative, then it will acquire -3 and hydrogen is going to acquire +3 each, sorry, +1 each. And here in NCl3, chlorine is more electronegative in comparison to nitrogen. So chlorine is going to acquire the negative charge and nitrogen is going to be +3. So for hydrogen, it is always +1, except for metal hydrides, where hydrogen acquires -1. So this is an exception for hydrogen, point number 7. For oxygen, it is always -2. This is the point to be remembered for the case of oxygen, but except in case of peroxide, when there is an OOH linkage, then each oxygen is having -1 charge. And the other exception is OF2 molecule. Here, fluorine is more electronegative than oxygen. So oxygen will acquire +2 charge and fluorine is going to be -1 each. So these are the exceptions for the oxygen, that is peroxide, it is -1. And for OF2, it is oxygen difluoride, it is +2, and in general for all other cases it is -2. So for halogens it is generally -1, but with the exception of interhalogen compounds, between the compounds which are formed between both the elements are halogens. So halogens can acquire the positive charge. The bigger size halogens are having positive charge and the more electronegative elements are having negative charge. So here in IF5 it is +5 for iodine and IF7 it is +7 for iodine, and in both the cases fluorine is -1. So for molecules, the sum of oxidation number of all the atoms is equal to the charge possessed by the molecule. If the molecule if there is overall charge on the molecule, then sum of oxidation number of all the atoms present in that molecule is going to be the charge. And for neutral molecules, it is 0. So let us apply these rules on these compounds. Let us see if we have gathered the information we have got from the above rules. Let us try to apply in these compounds. Here it is H2S. H2S, here we have learned about that hydrogen is always +1, except for the case of hydrides where it is -1. So here's we have to find for sulfur. Hydrogen is +1, 2 into +1 plus X, we can say for sulfur, it is going to be equal to 0. Overall charge on the molecule is 0. So from here we can find X, that is charge on oxidation number of sulfur, which has come out to be -2. Here we have to find for sulfur again in sulfate molecule, that is SO4 2-. So for each oxygen it is going to be -2. So -2 into 4, as there are 4 oxygens, plus X for sulfur, it is equal to -2 So from here, X comes out to be +6. So here sulfur is oxidation number for sulfur is +6. Next we have Na2H2O3. Well, here sodium is having +1 each. Here are 2 sodiums are there, that means +1 into 2. 3 oxygens are there, that means -2 into 3. S2, that means 2x. For each sulfur it is x. So adding all and equalizing them to 0. So it comes out to be -4 plus 2x, and x is equal to +2 for each sulfur. In S2O7, so these are the few cases which you will these are your practice questions, and you will be finding the oxidation number of the underlined atom in these molecules, and you will be giving the answers in the comment section of this video. If you find any problem, you can also point out that in the comment section. So I'll appreciate that if you solve these questions by your own after reading the rules. So next we have, these are some of the exceptional cases for the calculation of oxidation number. Let us discuss these also. Here it is Fe3O4. If we apply the simple formalism, that is 3 Fe are there, it is going to be equal to 3x plus 4 into -2. So 3x minus 8 is going to be equal to 0, because if we are applying the simple formalism. So here x comes out to be 8/3, but oxidation number can never be fractional. So there is something, for some of the compounds, we need to consider the structure. So here, in this case, there are 3 irons. 2 irons are having +3 oxidation state, and 1 iron is having +2 oxidation state. So this is how its structure is. This is an spinel ferrite, where one hydrogen is in, one metal is in +2 oxidation state, and 2 metals are in +3 oxidation state. So from here, if we put the oxidation numbers of 2 irons as +3 and 1 iron as +2, then the formula becomes right. And due to here, this problem occurs because both metals are having different oxidation state. Here there are 3 irons. In some cases, these metals can be different. So H2SO5. So here 2H, 2 hydrogens, that means 2 into +1, 5 oxygens, 5 into -2, sulfur, X for sulfur, then X comes out to be 8. But X, oxidation number of 8, is never possible for sulfur. So let us see what's the problem. Here it is a structure of H2SO5. There is a peroxide bond. Peroxide means each oxygen is bonded in this way, that is OO linkage is there. So for peroxide, we have already discussed that it is going to be -1 for each oxygen instead of -2. So if we consider these charges here, +1 for hydrogen, -2 for this oxygen, -2 for this oxygen, -2 for this oxygen, -1 for this oxygen, -1 for this oxygen, and +1 for this hydrogen. So from here, X comes out to be 6, which is the right answer for this. So sometimes it depends upon the structure, and actually it is always right to draw the structure first, then solve the oxidation number problem. So here are some of the examples which are having exceptions based upon the structure. So for these questions, you'll be trying at your home and replying the answers, giving the answers in the comment section again. Then if you still find any problem in these problems, then I have given the hints here that it is having a butterfly structure, and this is calcium oxychloride, tribromo octaoxide. Here these are the general names. So you will have to find the oxidation number of the underlined atom in these molecules. So this is your kind of homework. So the further will be going in the next video. So that is it for this video. I hope you will be answering these questions in the comments, and I'll be checking the comments. And if you find any difficulty, you can put that also, questions also, your queries also in the comment section. I'll be very happy to solve your problems. Thank you so much.